Hey, Christian,
Hey,
buddy, I've got great news.
I feel like you saying that means it's not going to be great for me, but I'll hear you out.
No. We got great news, Christian. I know so you and me. I mean, you're always here, but like I usually only show up. And every single time I show up, we do a fucking musical. Like it's been like the bit lately. So I have good news for you. Okay. So this week, my man, we had on the docket, we had a comedy movie this week. Isn't that fantastic? We had a classic 1980s action comedy movie by the name of Blues Brothers. You know, we finally broke the trend. You and me, man, we did it. We did everything.
Finally, I'm honestly, I'm so excited. Comedies, great. Actions, also great. Movies tended, they're all right sometimes, but I can get behind this. I'm in.
Perfect. So there is just like one teensy little thing. I mean, it's not a big thing. It's not like that. There's music in it.
I mean, yeah, there tends to be music in movies, like in the background, right? Like during the intense scenes or the action scenes, there's always some kind of funky beat playing. Usually, that's not out of the ordinary.
Right. But just as like a happenstance or like a hearsay. What if, perhaps, maybe also characters sang a little bit?
Okay.
But it's not. It's an action comedy
with singing.
Yes.
By the characters in the movie.
Yes.
So it's a musical.
No. It's an action comedy, Christian. It's called musical. Blues Brothers.
Oh, I should have seen this coming. It's blues, as in the blues music. Oh my fucking. Oh, come on.
No, don't come on, Christian. We got it. We can get through this. Don't worry. It's fine. We can do this.
I was a fool. Oh.
No, Christian. I'm sorry. I tried. I just
bastard.
I didn't have it in me to break it to you like this. But I can't lie to you, Christian. Christian, we watched another musical this week.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we watched another musical this week. How I don't want to ask yet. I don't think we're there yet.
Maybe a summary is in order, huh?
Yeah, maybe a summary is in order. Are you? No, this is for me.
This is for you.
This is my time. It's their time up there, but it's our time down here. So come one, come all. The fabulous Musical Brothers are back for a special one-night only show at the Panda Palace tonight. We've got a real humdinger of an episode for you tonight as we examine the fine arts of blues music, blackmail, and getting the band back together. To top it all off, we've got a fabulous live musical performance at the end of the show that you're not going to want to miss from a very special guest. And don't worry about food or refreshments. The bar will be serving the finest white bread, toasted to perfection and served with nothing but enthusiasm and a smile, paired deliciously with 4 colas and 8 beers. So grab your finest pair of sunglasses, sit back, and enjoy the ramblings of 2 idiots talking about 2 geniuses. The Blues Brothers is a musical action comedy based off of a reoccurring sketch from the hit show Saturday Night Live. The story is about 2 brothers, Jake, who just got out of jail, and Elwood, who's been living like a bum ever since Jake got thrown in jail. Upon Jake's release, the first place they visit is the old orphanage where they grow up, only to learn that it's in crippling debt. Wanting to help, but not being allowed to do it the illegal way, the brothers decide to reform their old band and play their hearts out to raise the necessary funds. Along the path of their mission from God, they encounter a wacky assortment of characters, all trying to kill them, by the way, including, but not limited to, the police, Princess Leia, actual Nazis, and some cowboys. However, once the brothers are together, there's nothing they can't do because they have the power of God and Funky Tunes on their side. So Christian, hey, I've actually already got an opening question. So you laid it out in the summary, and I was going to bring it up if you didn't. So I'm assuming you have heard of this movie before this evening.
This is one of my dad's favorite movies.
So you've seen this before.
It has been a very long time, and I did not remember a lot of the plot points or the finer details, but yes, I had at one point seen this movie.
Oh, okay. Well, that's actually interesting. So great. So we already know. So this is already one of your favorites because if it's your dad's favorite, must be your favorite.
Yeah,
anyway.
of course, it's a family heirloom. It's an old VHS of the Blues Brothers.
Yeah. So my one question to you was, upon hearing from Happens, because so this movie predates the both of us.
Correct.
And the bit that designed this movie. So for those that are unaware, SNL is where the Blues Brothers originated. And to go even further, there are several like SNL skits that became movies. This, in a way, I think might be the first because it is. I think it predates Pinheads or Coneheads. Sorry, not Pinheads. And Dan Aykroyd and this other gentleman by the name of John Belushi, who is a little less famous because he unfortunately died very young, only 2 or 3 years after this movie came out. In fact, these two characters are two of the original SNL cast members for the first 4 or 5 years of its run. Were you aware that this bit was an SNL bit at one point in time?
I was not.
Not even a little bit. I had no fucking clue.
I did not. I'm sure my dad did, but I did not.
Well, so for those keeping track at home, the original SNL cast started and debuted in 1975. Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi were a part of it till I think 79 or maybe 78 or something like that. 3 or 4 years. Just before this movie came out.
Mm-hmm.
So they literally left SNL, and then this was a movie. They were like, oh, we're gonna make this, which great for them. I love that for them. And yeah, so that's fun. But you're also not a huge fan of SNL to begin with, right?
I've watched some when I was a little bit younger, and SNL is funny. I don't really watch real television anymore, so I don't see SNL like I did when I was in high school, for instance, when you would just gather around the TV at the end of the day and watch TV with your family. So
right, yeah.
I have not watched SNL in a long time. From what I understand, SNL is a shell of its former self, but
yeah, but everyone says that every 8 years.
Yeah, that's fair. But because the cast rotates by that point, there's no people that are the same at that point. They all just get burnt out or do their own thing by that point, and they're just tired of SNL. So
yeah,
that's my understanding.
Sort of think I'm one of those people that's listen, boomer. All right, it's everyone has said that time and time again about every 5 to 8 years. All right, I'm not saying that I like current SNL because I'm really not the target audience. But when your target audience is between the ages of 16 and 25, then okay, fine. If I'm not the target audience, then that's totally chill. So as time goes on, yeah, it might not be my cup of tea, but hopefully they have a clear idea that they're shooting for a younger target audience or something like that. But I do agree. Maybe some older bits from the Way days are still funny to 30-year-old brain, but it also might just be because when I was first exposed to it, I was younger.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't really vibe with the whole SNL's a shell of its former self. I don't like it today, to be fair, but I just don't think I'm the target audience, and I think that's fine. It can be for younger people or something.
Yeah.
But dude, what'd you think? Did you enjoy yourself? How did it was okay. So even though the joke is it's not a musical, but it is a musical. It's not that much of a musical, right? It's pretty. It's a soft musical, maybe.
It is. Calling it a musical is slightly a stretch. Almost. I mean, I guess it automatically earns the title musical by having characters sing a couple of times. I don't really know how it works or genre defining works, but yeah, it is very light on the musical part of the show, of the movie rather. So
yeah, I mean, I think by definition it is a musical, but I don't know how to draw the line. When you're talking about a traditional musical, we're talking it's a show designed Like the music is designed for the show. This is just like cherry picked cool blues songs that have like loose tie-ins to like the scene or subject matter in the middle of like the movie or whatever, and then they just like roll with it. So it's really more of just kind of like performing cool blues songs every so often as a dumb comedy plays out.
Yeah. And then it's also about amassing every fucking popular black artist on the face of the planet and getting them to act in this movie.
Yeah, there's that too. Well, there's a lot of that.
Sing.
I should say a little bit. Yeah, I mean, well, hey, I love that for them. Aretha Franklin and Ray Charles are, two of my favorite artists to date.
It's hilarious. Excuse me. I
Go ahead.
Did not, again, like a decade probably at minimum since I watched this movie last, did not remember any of these cameos in the movie. This was all brand new to me. I honestly, when I originally watched this, I probably only knew Ray Charles, and that might even have been a stretch. I would definitely have not known what Aretha Franklin looked like, or what was the guy who played the pastor? He's also a famous, like in the beginning when they go to church. It's going to kill me. What was his name?
Is that Cab Calloway or is that James Brown? I forget which one's which.
It was Brown.
Okay, it was James Brown. Sorry.
Yeah. Cab Calloway was the older gentleman who sings at the palace at the end of the movie.
Yes. I just couldn't place which one was which. They're not. Neither of those two are household names to me. Those are more like, young Brendan can recognize them by face and not like put a name to it.
Yeah, I definitely didn't recognize any of these guys. So except for Mr. Charles. Very probably
I think
the only one.
The two that I can just like immediately name is Ray Charles and Aretha Franklin for sure. I do know James Brown and Cab Calloway, but they're not as household for me personally, even in my adult years, to be perfectly honest. But you enjoyed it though. I hope. I think, right? Yes. Yeah.
This movie's pretty good. I like this movie a lot. I think
not bad.
It's not bad. I like it. I enjoyed my time. Even the musical scenes that we do get, they have the musical element to them, but there's also a lot of times some comedy thrown into the mix because that's just kind of how they do it. With it's that little bit of SNL flair thrown on top to make sure that you're staying a little bit interested for people like me who are not typically into musicals. So
right,
this film does a good job. The only like true musical numbers that I think are really part of this movie are like I think probably Aretha Franklin and Ray Charles is. I think in every other instance there's something else going on my screen that is funny enough or entertaining enough that like I don't have to focus on just people dancing and music being played. That being said, though, the music in and of itself also not bad. I can get down with some of some of the music. I think it starts off a little bit weak in the church scene. I wasn't a super fan of the church number. It was funny watching John Belushi. Or I should say Jake Blue, do backflips all the way down a church aisle. Thank you. After glowing blue from having an epiphany and ascending to a higher plane of existence, that was funny. But everything else surrounding, and then Elwood also just kind of dancing into the center. That also funny. Everything else surrounding the church scene kind of whatever, but. There's a lot of music in this movie that actually goes fairly well for me, and I appreciate it. I appreciate this movie for being able to hand me something that was both entertaining and I didn't hate the music.
Hey, that's a W. I'll take that. That is a fucking W, because I mean, blues is not something that you listen to on like in your spare time, right?
No, I would not willingly choose to open up my Spotify and just listen to R&B or blues.
Yeah, I definitely would. Depending on the mood, obviously.
Right. But the fact that it melds with the movie and the plot of the movie, like I'm willing to buy into something like that because that's the whole point of the movie.
Totally. Hey, well, that's great. So I do like this movie a lot. I do think it's a classic. I do think I have a bit of a hot take though.
Oh,
I find, and I'm sure that you would probably agree in a vacuum, I don't think this is a 2.5 hour runtime movie.
oh, absolutely not. No.
No, this is just it's a good flick. It's a funny movie. There are like 5 too many 5-minute long walking sequences that serve no gag or plot purpose. Like in several instances of this movie, there's at least like 5 where they're just like walking down the street for like 2 or 3 minutes at a time. There's no gag happening, and it's not like moving plot forward with like side characters. You're just watching the Blues Brothers like walk down the street.
Just exist. They just exist.
Yeah, literally just existing. I think this movie is closer to like an hour and like 50 minutes, maybe. I still feel like I'm pushing it there because I do like a lot of the gags they had. There's a lot of good bits. I like most of the side plots. The Nazi subplot is probably the one subplot you could completely remove, and next to nothing in this movie would change.
It would be the same movie.
There's literally nothing gained from look, I think the 2 side plots you could completely remove, and the movie does not change. It's actually probably Carrie Fisher and the Nazis, but I like Carrie Fisher bits. So we're gonna
Carrie Fisher's bit is like kind of funny and has a dumb payout at the end, but I don't know. It's kind of funny to just watch them literally blow up several times in this movie and just walk away from it because they're on a mission from God, as Elwood would say.
They're on a mission from God.
I fucking love that line. Every time Elwood said it, I laughed.
You know what I laughed? So I've got 2 quotes. I might as well just lose one now. When Elwood said, "Who you gonna call?" I'm like, Dan, you have no idea how relevant that line's gonna be. They're in the fucking phone booth. He's like, "Who you gonna call?" And I'm like, Dan, you don't know what you're in for, buddy. That made me chuckle inside.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like this movie a lot. But in addition to the runtime being just a little too long for what we get out of this flick, jokes, gags, good times, good music aside, I also just think that like it's funny, but it's not like Airplane funny. I'm more of like, if I'm gonna watch an old time comedy movie, like Airplane is my go-to. This movie collectively is probably like, I'd rate it like a 7 out of 10, give or take. It's not like a fucking 9 out of 10 rewatch. I'll rewatch this every so often if it's on. It's never really been a comedy movie from the 80s or late 70s that I've ever gone to and been like, oh, I gotta watch this. Nah, that's more like Airplane or something. I think there's not enough. There's a lot of visually funny gags, but not a lot of good one-liners that are very quotable. I don't think this movie's that quotable. Do you disagree? Other than being we're
on a mission from God.
We're on a mission from God. Or my only other quote, which I won't lose right now. I'm going to save it for quotes later.
Okay.
But there's one other quote that I do still love from this movie from time to time.
It's not. I also have one other quote that I wrote down that I just thought was funny, like at the beginning of the movie. But it's definitely not a line people probably go back to at the regular from this movie. Mm-hmm. If I had to guess, it's probably that line. I don't know. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head that would garner enough cult following for people to just like be spouting it at someone, and then someone will recognize it, go, "Oh, Blues Brothers! I love that movie.
It's fucking Blues Brothers."
Yeah, I think I agree with you.
Being on a mission from God is pretty good though. I do like that. That's solid as fuck. But you know, it is a good flick. I do think visually this movie is full of fucking gags. And also full of very funny people, including like John Candy. The Nazi guy is a very famous comedy dude. But you know, should we talk about the Nazis? I just want to like get that off. I want to get done with them. Not
a line I ever want to hear. Should we talk about the Nazis?
Can we just like talk about them so we never have to bring up that subplot again?
Yeah, sure.
I don't want to dive in. I don't want to delve on the so Murphy Dunny. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Murphy Dunny. is a funny guy, and he plays a Nazi, a Nazi leader. And for whatever reason, when they wrote this movie, they thought this was a brilliant fucking gag. At one point,
Insane.
when they're yeah, I was like, whatever. At one point, when Elwood and Jake are, I think they're searching for the what do you call it, like the bandmates at this point, right? I think this is like when they're on their way to like catch up with the dudes at the Mexican bar where half the band is currently playing. And
yes, I believe so.
And when they're doing this, they happen to just be in like a traffic jam over this like bridge that's in the middle of like a park or something. I don't know why this is like the only road that leads to this one fucking Mexican restaurant, but apparently it is. And for whatever reason, there's just a bunch of neo-Nazis like blocking the bridge, performing like an act of First Amendment rights, you know, wanting to talk about the wishes of their supreme leader. And I'm like, fucking yikes. That is a
this is
choice.
So incredibly jarring. I cannot tell you that as soon as, dude, I again haven't seen this movie in a decade. Every time we have changed scenes, there's been a purpose, especially at this point. It's like, okay, we're getting the band back together. We got to go see the guys. And
right.
Because at this point, they're coming back from, I think they're driving from that woman's house where two of them used to stay. And so the next scene is them driving over this, coming up to this bridge, or we get the scene of the Nazis first holding this protest or whatever. And I'm like, there's no fucking way that the two people we're looking for are Nazis. There's just no way. It can't be possible. They can't be doing this, right? And then of course, luckily, it's not the case.
No, it is not the case.
We drive right on through. We end up finding the magic tone, what Murph and the Magic Tones at some bar restaurant thing. And I can't tell you the huge sigh of relief that came out of my mouth. Holy, I was about to close the movie. There's no way.
So I'm not saying movies and media that depict Nazism is bad for the brain. I'm just suggesting that in a comedy, there's a little bit of tone deafness utilizing them as a plot element.
Yeah.
And when I say they could be completely removed, so I'm just gonna give the spark notes of this plot element. They exist. They get knocked in the water because the Blue Brothers are impatient and they just start driving through the bridge and do not give a fuck about the Nazis. They even say, "I hate Nazis." Great, we love that for you.
No, he hates Illinois Nazis. Other Nazis are definitely on the table.
Okay, don't do this to me. You can't do this to me.
It's true though. He says Illinois Nazis.
He does emphasize Illinois. That is actually, I do remember this now that you said that. But I hope that is not a requirement.
It's not an underlying theme here. Very oddly specific choice of words is all I'm saying.
You're right. No, you're right. Okay, so they drive through, they knock him in the river, and then the neo-Nazis are like, "Oh, we're gonna effing kill those guys." They barely come back into the story. Like every so often, that at one point, they investigate, try to figure out where the Blues Brothers are, and they like get this is like the only like turnaround gag that I thought was funny. They get Elwood's address. And they're like, "Oh, we're gonna fucking get Elwood now." And then they drive to Wrigley Field, which is the baseball park in Chicago. And apparently Elwood's address was just the baseball stadium in Chicago. And then when they realize they drive up, they're like, they're gonna screw up. We're gonna find these guys. That's like the only decent payoff. But they could have done that with any group of people. They could have done that with the police. They could have done that with the Cowboys. But they chose to do it with the neo-Nazis. Whatever. That was like one decent bit. And basically by the end of the movie, they are completely forgotten about until the final main car chase. And at one point, the Blues Brothers, who are being chased by the police, they lose the police for a while, is really only inserted into this chase to bring the neo-Nazi car chase back into the mix. And then they proceed to do this for a while. Then there's like a bridge that's out, and then the Nazis, there's a really sick car flip from the Blues Brothers as they they turn around and flip backwards.
The dumbest shit I've ever seen.
Dude, they did a kick flip with a fucking vehicle, and I'm like, you know what? Fine, I'm here for it. That's great. I love that. That's a good visual bit. The neo-Nazis do not do a kick flip to escape their untimely demise. They run off the bridge, which from one angle is like 20 feet off the ground, but then after they fly off the bridge, they proceed to start falling from the 2
fucking
miles
stratosphere, dude. What? Where was this road going? They're higher than the city skyline.
I don't know.
It's utterly ridiculous. I mean, I loved it. It was so funny.
It was a great visual gag again, but these gags could have been played out by any group of individuals in this movie that they had established.
Yeah, but the only ones that you would be okay with killing are the Nazis, unfortunately. Like, everyone else is just kind of disgruntled, and the police are kind of just doing their job.
Boy.
I mean, I agree with you that the Nazis probably could have just been removed, but and this scene would kind of have to go with them unless this just turns into another scene of people surviving explosions that they shouldn't.
I mean, honestly, after the giant police pileup underneath the subway line, that was after their first breakaway. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Oh, and then they just start unloading bullets on them too. This movie is kind of a fucking fever dream, if I'm gonna be honest.
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
It's a little bit of a fever dream, but that's the Nazi subplot, and I don't want to return to it. I think that's my least favorite part of the movie.
But also, one of the Nazis was just gay at the end.
That did happen.
He just confesses to the leader before they fall into the pit or whatever. Sure, why not? Who cares? One last kind of sting for the Nazis. I don't sure.
But now that we don't have to go back to him, so let's get to the nitty gritty. What actually happened in this movie? Well, we start out. So Jake went to prison because he tried to steal money to pay the band that they had. Right. That's what I remember. Did I?
He owed, I think, from what I understood, he owed some of the guys, especially, I don't know if it was the entire band or just specifically the ones in Murph and the Magic Tones. I think you're right that it is the whole band. He owed money from a different something. And so he sticks up a gas station or something. What was it again?
I think he did that. Yeah. I think he literally stuck up a gas station to or an ATM. He tried to steal money out of an ATM or something like that at a gas station.
But he definitely, he was trying to rob an establishment in some way. Sure.
He was being a criminal.
Yeah.
Fucking criminal, which is why he went to fucking jail.
Yeah. 3 years.
So then he goes to jail for 3 years. And apparently in this time, Elwood, who is our number 2 in this movie, played by Dan Aykroyd, did literally nothing. Just did not do anything.
Yeah. You kind of.
He apparently sold their old car and got a faux or a retired police vehicle as their new Bluesmobile. That was all he did in the 3 years that they spent apart.
Yeah. He traded the old one for a microphone. And Jake was okay with it.
Jake's like, honestly, I would have done that too.
I vibe with it.
I respect that decision. And then, so at this point, we don't really have a plot yet. We just have 2 idiots that call themselves the Blues Brothers that are now on screen driving a vehicle around, and we have no idea what we're in for. The plot starts when they go to the orphanage. So they grew up in an orphanage. And at one point, Jake's like, well, I don't want to go there. And then Elwood's like, well, you promised after you got out, you go to the orphanage to see sister so-and-so. And he's like, well, fuck that. I don't want to do it. And then Elwood's like, fuck you. You're doing it anyway. So they do that. They go to the orphanage. And this the sister, the one that raised them, or the one that owns the orphanage, essentially just goes like, hey, it's good to see you boys. Come sit down. Let me speak to you for a little while. And then she goes, well, we're fucked. I have to give the orphanage up because we can't afford the taxes this year. And for whatever reason, the both the Blues Brothers are like, yeah, we're going to take that on. Don't worry. We'll get you the money. I don't know why Jake at this moment was like, yo, we definitely need to help them with taxes. But they were both like unanimously like, oh, no, we'll find $5,000 for sure.
Easiest shit of my life.
No problem. So even though Jake had no intention of going to the orphanage, she's like, but don't worry, we'll find you $5,000. And the sister made it very clear it can't be illegal $5,000. And then Jake's like, fine, whatever, fucking bitch. I like this bit too. There's a gag here where as he's like, one of them cursed, and then in true sister fashion, people like they'll have like the ruler or whatever, starts smacking one of them, and then he shouts an expletive like fuck, and then she smacks him again, and then it just becomes this endless cycle of both of them cursing and getting smacked for cursing. I like that bit. That was good.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. And then does Elwood do they fall down the stairs, or they just run? I think they just run, right? But Jake takes the fucking desk out.
Yeah, no, they both fall down the stairs.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they both fell. And then for whatever reason, sister whatever is like possessed by the grudge in this moment and slides back instead of walking back as the door closes behind her. In my mind, I was like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, and the door closed by itself when they first walked into the room as well, which is like, what is happening right now?
I'm pretty sure this is not a Catholic church. I'm pretty sure this has been overtaken by by some deities, is all I'm saying. But either way, the boys here, so that's our plot. Our plot is, how are we going to get $5,000 for the boys? And of course, the first place they go to in order to find that epiphany is a church. And in my mind, I'm like, there's a lot of Christian propaganda happening right now. It's all I'm saying. This movie expects you to be ready for a lot of Christian propaganda, which I can be for the gags. Don't get me wrong. But they go to the church, and sure as shit, after listening to the preacher doing his thing, Jake has the vision. Of course, the only thing that they can do to find $5,000 without breaking the law is to get the band back together.
Of course.
Duh, Christian.
How could we?
What else?
How could we? I love too that, and later, like when they get back in the car for more just driving around gag stuff, he just the whole time. This shouldn't even really be an epiphany. Because then later, when Elwood is like, oh, yeah, I just didn't keep in contact with any of them, basically. And Jake is appalled. He's saying, oh, what do you mean? You had one job. You were supposed to keep talking to everybody and make sure the band stayed together. And Elwood's like, well, everyone wanted to go and kind of do their own thing, and I didn't want to break your little heart. It was the only thing getting you through jail. But so if it was the only thing getting him through jail... Why did he take this long for him to remember? Why did he have an epiphany about it in church? I feel like it should have been the first
Jesus moment. Yeah, like the very first thing out of jail should have been, yo, what happened to the band? But you see, if we just made this, if the plot of this movie was just get the band back together and not get the band back together so that we can get $5,000 for the church, we're going to lose so much like drive to get the boys going, Christian. Obviously, we need that subplot. Otherwise, there's not going to be anything gratifying at the end of the tunnel, right? We're just going to be getting the band back together. And that's not good enough. We need a moral.
Yeah, we need standards. And I mean, honestly, I'm not mad about this. This is fine. It's just enough plot to get where I need to go, and that's fine. I don't care. What I do care about is the extra like 25 minutes on the end of this movie where they leave they sneak out of the palace but don't really sneak out, and then there's like 20 minutes of them making their way through the city where it just gets increasingly more absurd, the number of people and who exactly is chasing them. I don't think it needed to be that long. I gotta be real with you. There were a couple of like tiny funny things in in there, like just the fact that they call the fucking army on them, that's funny, but it doesn't need to be 20 minutes of just unrelenting car chase scenes and then them in the building and they're trying to make their every step of the way through the building they get in the door, in the elevator, other door is locked, we break that one down, find the guy signing the shit. I don't need this.
Okay, I think, to be fair, I think by the time they were in the building, I was here for it. It was a little too much preamble of watching the mob forming on the outside, like during the car chase scenes, outside the building. Like, I get they're trying to, like, they're obviously trying to play up the absurdity of what's going on. Like, they got dudes that, like, left the helicopter and are, like, scaling from the top row of the building,
Rainbow
and going
Six
like,
Siege style.
they're doing Rainbow Six Siege on the side. You got the whole mob literally like screaming as they're climbing the steps to get to floor 11. I assume, I think it was like 1102 or something like that. So the 11th floor. And honestly, I kind of thought that was a good gag. Like every time they cut back to the mob and they're just like fucking screaming, and I'm like,
but you can't hear them at this point. They're in the tax office and the guy is signing, and all the doors they're screaming past and breaking down are like 100 feet that way. You should absolutely be hearing them. But when we flash back to the tax guy and the Blues Brothers, you hear nothing.
You don't hear much. I don't think until they broke the glass to like his office do we even hear like a whisper.
Yeah, like if you might be able to hear in the way distance, but they don't hear anything until the guns are pointed at the back of their heads.
Yeah, pretty much. Which I also think was visually a great gag.
Yeah.
I don't want to undersell this. There was like 100 fucking auto rifles pointed at them at the same time.
Yeah, and that might be an underestimate.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty funny. I did like that. That was funny. So even though it did tack on the last 20 minutes, it really was funny. It's like they got the $5,000 that they needed, and then it was just run from the police for the next 25 minutes. That was the end of the movie. And then as soon as they do, they're like, we finally fucking did it. Still go to jail, by the way. I think this movie is better because they still went to jail. I'm trying to imagine what this movie would be like if they got away with it. And I think this is the better outcome.
Yeah, I agree. I think that they definitely should face the consequences that they do. That's without question. But yeah, it's like everything that comes before it. That's just, I mean, really, for all the shit that the cops and the angry cowboys and the army, they brought out a fucking tank, dude. They were ready to murk these guys out of existence. But so the fact that they only end up in jail is like a miracle. They should have been blown. I'm surprised they didn't shoot on sight. At every other step of this car chase, they're firing away. Thousands of pounds of lead is lining the streets with all the bullets and casings that the cops and everybody shoot at these two guys. But the moment they've got them in their sights, everyone's got trigger discipline. Nobody moves a muscle. They should be lucky to be alive. God.
It's like so this movie's really separated in, we need to figure out what's going to drive our boys. It's the money. The section where they get the band, the section where they do the music, and the section when they pay the money to the church. So we've covered the early and the way end part of the movie, but a lot of the good bits that happen in this is during when they're trying to get the band together. And so what one of the things is they go to like this. So one of the goons they have to recruit is he like works in like a fancy schmancy restaurant or something like that. And the end bit is that the Blues Brothers come in, they act like assholes, and like some like hoity-toity asshole in the back is like, hey, can you move them or can you move us? Because like they're distracting. And Jake goes like, brother, if you don't join our band, we're coming here for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. And the guy's like, well, fuck me then. I guess I can't fucking work here anymore.
I mean, this is a terrible argument because the brothers would have just been made to pay. Like I
right.
Go ahead.
Totally agree.
By all, if I'm the guy and I don't really care to join this band, really, I go okay, and then I walk away. You know, what are they gonna do? They have to foot the bill. They paid for. They bought a $100 bottle of what was it?
Champagne or wine or whatever.
And that's not even counting the 4 shrimp cocktails and a loaf of bread for Elwood. I'd say fine, fuck it, by all means.
By all means, come on back. You know, we're not going to help you. So when you can't pay, guess what? Your ass is out on grass. But apparently the dude's like, all right, well, you're twisting my arm, so I guess I'm gonna go. To be your fucking trumpeter again. And then then they get the other 2 schmucks that are working at some dude's wife's like restaurant,
a soul food restaurant.
A soul food restaurant run by the Aretha Franklin, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
run by the Aretha Franklin. And they for whatever reason, they just do a musical bit where they have zero interest. And then Aretha like tells her husband, like, don't you fucking do it. Which he was already like, no, I'm not going to do it. And then she's like, well, I'm just letting you know, you better not fucking do it. And then after the song's done, they both just bounce.
Well, I don't think that he was initially not gonna do it. I think he was definitely gonna do it. And
you think?
Yeah,
I thought he was saying he wouldn't do it.
No, I'm pretty sure the theme here is I'm gonna go do it. He has several times he goes like, oh, but it's Jake and Elwood, and then Aretha Franklin looks at him and goes, and I'm your wife. What are you doing here?
No, I'm remembering this now. Yeah, I think he was down, and then that was when Aretha was like,
the song is about like trying to get him to rethink his decision, and then he just looks at her a little too aggressively, might I add, and throws the apron on the ground in front of her. And I mean, to her credit, she takes no offense to this. And then the saxophone player, I think, who was the other cook in the back, is sitting there with his saxophone out, ready to go, but doesn't want to get whipped by Aretha. So she just looks at him and goes, "Get out of here! What are you fucking still doing here?
What the hell are you doing here, man?" And then of course we go to so at that point we finally get the band back together. We get to my favorite part of the movie, Ray Charles's music shop. This scene. This is like my favorite scene in the entire movie.
Really?
It is. Yes, it is the only. Okay, yeah, I'll spoil my quote. This is the only quote I have in the entire movie.
Oh, I think I know what it is then.
It's when as they first go into the shop and they're asking him for fucking instruments and stuff. And there's that guitar on the wall. Some little child walks in. So Ray Charles, for those keeping track at home, is a blind man. He's a blind jazz music player. He was brought into this movie as both a visual gag, and also he's just a very accomplished musician for the subject matter. And they thought that would be funny, and it was. So Ray Charles owns this music shop, and this child comes in and starts reaching for a guitar that's being held up on the wall. And what does Ray Charles do? But literally pull out a revolver, shoot 2 bullets to scare the kid off. Just shoot it out in the ether. He's blind, by the way. Very blind. And then the kid runs off. And what does Ray Charles say? But it does my heart bad to see a good boy. No, it does my heart foul to see a good kid gone bad. Best line in the whole movie. Absolutely, bar none. I stand for it every time.
Oh, wait, is this a reference to like one of his songs or something? Or
no, it's just a great line. Okay. I thought you were Ray Charles shooting a child and going, "It does my heart foul to see a good kid gone bad."
Oh, that's not the line. I thought you were gonna go with when he's negotiating the price of the keyboard. At the beginning of the scene, where it was like $2,000 and it's yours. As a matter of fact, I'll throw in the black keys for free.
Black keys too. It's like another great line. And then they're like, "You got to be kidding me, man! This thing's got no life in it." And then he's like, Oh, the fuck it does. And then they do a whole song.
And Ray Charles rips that shit up.
He absolutely rips that shit up. I love that scene. That is easily my favorite. That is probably the only rewatchable scene. My hot take, the most rewatchable scene in this movie, including the two major like band numbers, like at the Palace and Jailhouse Rock. In my personal opinion, fantastic track and fantastic scene. Everything is perfect.
Yeah, that's fair. I can see that. I think I'd. Can I pin a specific scene as one of my favorites? I think. I don't know. I think in terms of musical numbers, potentially the Jailhouse. Maybe the Jailhouse. Either Jailhouse or maybe in terms of the actual movie outside of the ending, the bunker, the country bunker. I thought the country bunker was pretty funny. That's
actually a scene I completely forgot about, and I now I did like this. Another great visual gag. They just constantly kept throwing shit at them, whether they liked them or not.
Yeah.
Which I was like, so are you guys into it or are you not? So this bit was they just rolled up to a random like country bar. I don't remember what this fucking joke was too, but like at one point they were like, so what kind of music do you guys like to or play here? And she's like, oh, we do all kinds. We do Southern and country. And that was
country and Western.
Oh, country and Western.
Same fucking.
I was like, oh, okay, I got it. I see where this is going. And you know, they were apparently like another group was supposed to be there, something about the Good Old Boys, and then they just like roll up because they were late, and they're like, well, we're the band, and they got away with it too. By the way, they get away with everything in this movie. That's a reoccurring bit. They literally get away with absolutely everything.
Well, you know why?
Well, because they're
on a mission from God.
Of course, yeah, that's absolutely right. So they play this. There's like a mesh fence in like front of them.
It's like
from
chicken wire.
There's like a chicken wire in their faces from the stage, like so that the people like so. Well, you would think it's to protect them from when they're mad, because people just throw shit at them if they don't like their music, which they proceed to do at the beginning when they start playing blues. Then they switch to Rawhide, which is an old like, you know, country track that also has like a little bit of blues energy to it, which is like the only reason they fucking know it. It's like all right, yeah, all the country people are like, okay, we like this, and every single time it cuts back to them playing the music, and even though they like them, you still see them chucking beer cans and fucking broken glass bottles all over the fucking place. I'm like, guys, relax.
Yeah, and not only that, it's this chicken wire fence that is shattering glass
everything
bottles.
Is shattering, by the way. Everything is literally falling into fucking specks of dust.
Yeah, this is just playing up the absurdity, but it's the entire time they're playing music and these bottles are just raining down on them.
Oh my god, so fucking stupid. There's also the side bit that I like that we haven't talked about, the Carrie Fisher side bit. So she's in this movie, Princess Leia, for those keeping track.
What a wild drop just there. She just pops up with a bazooka and a thermal scope and tries to blow him to high hell within like the first 15 minutes, maybe 20 of the movie, unprompted, completely blows up the front of their apartment complex, and the best part, they just walk it off. Nothing happened.
Walk it off unscathed.
They're unscathed and unfazed. This is an everyday occurrence to them. This happens all the time. And Carrie Fisher just drives away. She just drives away. It didn't work. Damn. Time to hit the.
I'll get him next time.
Yeah, time to have back to the drawing board on this one.
Oh my god, dude! You know, one of my other like fun facts or like favorite parts about this too. She goes this entire movie being completely unnamed. She is just strange lady the whole way through.
Yep.
Even we get a little bit of resolution as to why she's doing this, she never gets a formal name.
Nope. Completely unneeded, and that's fine. I did not need to know her name. After the second time, which she just detonates the apartment complex. Is the second time we see her. 5 minutes later, while the Blues Brothers are sleeping in their apartment, they're just sudden. She pulls up, presses a button, and the entire building just blows up.
Blows the fuck
and
up.
This gets them out of being jumped by the police because John Candy's character, whose name I don't know if he ever actually gets a name, but
I don't remember what it was, even if he does.
He's brought the cops to their apartment after they get got by the Wrigley Field bid, which he comments and he's like, I actually kind of like the bit, which I just a funny aside in general, but they're about to get got by the cops and the fucking building blows up. Everybody survives. Anyone important anyway. Maybe the rest of the residents are all dead. We don't see them, but the cops survive. John Candy survives. The brothers survive, and they just walk it off. All of them pay no mind to the fact that the building just collapsed.
Yeah. At first, the Blues Brothers, they like crawl out of the rubble and they're just like, wow, that was weird, wasn't it? We got shit to do.
Elwood looks at his watch and goes, "Oh shit, it's 9:00. Time to go to work."
And then the police, after the Blues Brothers go off screen, the police start crawling out like Children of the Corn and go like, "Man, that's weird, dude."
Must have been the wind.
Must have been the wind. Like, everyone's just always unfazed all the time. Oh man! And then Carrie Fisher, her last bit at the end, when after we'll talk about it, but after the Blues Brothers can complete their magnum opus, their play at the palace, they escape to try to get away from the police that are currently trying to guard the exits of the palace because they're there. And she goes like, "Jake, you left me at the altar. I stayed celibate for you." I don't know why I made her sound like Carl Weezer a little bit there, but this is what she's been mad about. And then, I will say, when this bit played out, in my mind, because I didn't remember this. I didn't remember how the scene played out. I thought that Jake was just going to start being like matter of factly and just go like, "Babe, I was in prison." And then she would be like, "Oh, well, shit. Oh, my bad. I didn't know." and then they would just like move on with their lives. But he goes, after she's like, "I have to kill you guys," he walks up to her slowly, gets on his knees and starts screaming and pleading, "Don't kill us, please. You don't understand. My car ran out of gas. The tires went flat. My uncle couldn't make it to the wedding." I like, he just started listing off like excuse after excuse
completely
after excuse.
Unrelated excuses.
All probably false. All literally, probably every single one of them is a lie. I would imagine, which is why he's saying everything but the one thing that actually happened to him that could have gotten him out of the situation. He just like lists 19 different things.
That's because I'm willing to bet that's not even the reason. I'm willing to bet this happened even before that.
Well, that might be true too. Maybe I'm putting too much faith in the timeline here. But he just proceeds to just give a million excuses as to why he didn't marry her. And then Carrie Fisher's character goes like, "Aw, Jake, I can't stay mad at you."
Okay, no. First, she doesn't fall for those. 'Cause she's still like pointing the gun at him or whatever. But then he pulls out the puppy dog eyes, and this is really why he wears the sunglasses the entire movie, because otherwise his look alone would kill. He slowly pulls the sunglasses off his face, which I don't know if it's the first time in the movie we see his eyes.
It absolutely is, 100%.
I'm trying to remember if maybe we saw him at jail at the beginning.
We did not. That was a whole bit. The camera literally stayed away from his face on purpose.
Yeah,
it was a whole visual gag for sure.
So that's the only time in the movie we see his eyes, and it's because they're just too powerful. He's got the meanest puppy dog eyes on the face of the earth, and see, so he pulls off the sunglasses, looks at her, and you just watch Carrie Fisher's face melt away into this smile, and he gives her a hug. They a deep kiss, and he throws her to the side and goes,
literally
"Elwood,
throws her down." Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it. Elwood, come on, we gotta go. And then they just leave.
and then didn't Elwood go like, nice to meet you or something like that. Like, as he was leaving,
he stutters out a like nice to meet you or a sorry about that or whatever it was, and then they bounce.
Yeah, then they fucking bounce. God, what a great side plot. I love the Carrie Fisher side plot.
Totally acceptable side plot. Good payoff for the dog, for especially in the eyes department. Like having this be the one time we see his eyes throughout the entire movie is just it's too good.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But after we get done with Ray Charles, of course, they still need to get their main. They need to get their $5,000, and they go to some goon. I know he's like a famous dude. I don't really know him by name. He's not a household name in my universe, but they go to some like Don or something, and he has the pull to get them a show at like one of the biggest venues in the surrounding area, which they can give them exactly 5,000 for $1 a head or something like that, or like $2 a head. And they're like, well, great, then that's what we'll do. And he's like, nah, you guys can't take that show. And they're like, well, if you don't, then we'll tell your wife that you cheated on her. And he's like, all right, I guess you're gonna play the show. And I like this guy
folds immediately.
Yeah, immediately folds. They have this negotiation in a sauna, and after the Don dude agrees to give them the show, the Blues Brothers were with them in the sauna, and as soon as like he agrees, they go, oh, thanks, dude, and then they look over, they're like, all right, boys, let's go. The whole band was in the room at the same time in the sauna for whatever reason. They were just like there being quiet, letting this whole situation play out. So yeah, I will say all these bandmates are like fucking all ride or die. They pretend like they're not ride or die, but for the most part, they're pretty much in it for the long haul from start to finish. There's like one time where they're like, oh, we're gonna give them one more chance, and I'm like, you guys dealt with a lot of shit. They found out before the big show happened that they weren't gonna get paid, that all of the money they were planning on getting from this show was going to go to the church when they finished. They heard that and still did the show. I find that kind of incredible, actually.
Well, I mean, look, if somebody comes up to you and goes, yeah, all this money, it's not just that they're not getting paid, it's that all this money is going to an orphanage and all these boys are going to be really sad. If you heard that, would you really not play the show?
I mean, if I was in these guys' shoes, I'm just saying I'm weighing my options is all I'm getting at.
I don't think I'm weighing my option. I'm weighing my options on how I'm going to beat the shit out of Jake later, but I'm still playing the show. Like
wow, or maybe I'm just an asshole.
I'm not gonna hear that and go, well, fuck those kids. I'm trying to get paid. You know, if they needed money, why don't they just go get a job? Like I don't think I'd be able to have the heart to turn down the knowledge that money was going to an orphanage, man. I'm just saying.
I think I could. Maybe that's my toxic trait.
Oh, wow. Not the reveal, the knowledge, the Brendan lore I thought I'd get tonight.
Not the Brendan lore you thought you were gonna get.
Hates orphans.
You heard it here for. Oh man, I don't want to stand by this anymore.
Too late. It's done. You're canceled.
I'm canceled. Well, that's fair. Yeah, I deserve it. They do go through with the show. It goes off without a hitch. All the police officers infiltrating included. Man, they were all over the place. They were swarming that fucking venue. They were everywhere. And then John Candy's like, instead of arresting them on the spot, John Candy's like, I haven't actually heard these boys sing yet. We should let them play for a little while. Then we'll arrest them.
I think John Candy's character does know, right? But he like convinces the other two cops.
Well, no, he said, well, he does convince them to like not, go through with the arrest. But I'm pretty sure he said, I believe this is what he said. He's like, I actually haven't heard these guys sing, so we should watch first. And because he was like intrigued, he was like interested. He's like,
I remember a line. I remember a line more like, "You ever heard these boys sing?" In a way that's like I've heard these guys sing. Have you guys heard these guys sing? They're amazing. You know what I mean? Like you ever heard? Maybe you ever heard this band? They're amazing.
I might have misinterpreted. That could be the bit that they were going for, and I'm just a big dumb idiot.
Yeah, I don't know. they never really go into how John Candy's character would have known the Blues Brothers. It just always kind of seemed like maybe they were tight, but I don't know.
Yeah. But I mean, after it goes off without a hitch, a great track, by the way. After it goes off without a hitch, we did it. Minus the 30-minute long car chase scene, getting the money to the appropriate I want tax
to
house.
I want to rewind us to a comment we made earlier where we said that there's really no quotable quotes or notable quotes in this movie. I googled a couple of like lists of people ranking Blues Brothers quotes, and almost all of them list when they get in the car finally before the 30 minutes of chase at the very end of the movie. Elwood turns to Jake and he goes, "It's 106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark and we're wearing sunglasses." That's like everybody's favorite quote.
Okay, no, that is good. That is good. Mainly because of it's dark and we're wearing sunglasses. I also now that you reminded me, during the car scene, he's like, "Jake, I gotta pull over," and then he proceeds to do the sickest fucking drift of all time across the median onto another road.
Yeah, which, by the way, all of these cars, or the roads or the tires, just made of oil, I guess, because anytime they want to make
on
a
ice.
turn, made of oil on ice, and also there's no treads. These tires are all 10 years old.
Yep.
Every single time they want to make a turn or do anything, the car 90-degree angles every single time. And this is funniest to me in the initial car chase scene that they do through the mall when they're running from the cops for the first time. Because Elwood just goes,
right.
Oh, you want to get out of this parking lot? Fine. And then he drives through the mall.
Through the fucking mall. What a wild car chase.
Insane. And then the cops follow is the worst part. What?
Fucking cops. Oh my god, what fucking morons.
Insane. I'm watching this scene. It's like a 10-minute car chase scene. I'm watching this scene and they're just Elwood's driving and Jake is just pointing out storefronts, and then almost immediately following him pointing out a storefront, Elwood's through the front door with the car of that storefront. Jake goes, "Oh, Pure One Imports." all over, glass everywhere, people scattering. They just, all the walls made of paper. They're driving through like nothing's happening to them. And all the cops are following the entire time. It's absurd, and
it is.
I kind of liked it a lot. It's good.
It
was really over the top, and I was kind of here for it.
That was a good car chase scene. That one being 10 minutes, I can get behind. The final 20-minute car chase could have had a lot of snip.
Yeah, for sure.
In my humble opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree for sure.
But Christian, honestly, I think we fucking did it.
Yeah. The only other thing, because I just glanced through my notes real quick, that I wanted to point out is the number of traffic violations that Elwood had. Did you notice that?
No, I didn't actually.
Oh my god, dude! When the cops pull up his record, they pulled him over for the first time towards the beginning of the movie, and they run his.
Right. What? Yeah. What was the rundown?
They run his license, note. And at the same time, Elwood is telling Jake about this new program that they have that can pull up their everything. And then you immediately flash over to the car, and it says, Elwood, whatever, suspended license. And then it has a list of the infractions on his record, and he has 116 parking violations and 56 moving violations. And it flashes underneath all of this list of things, and it goes, "Arrest immediately and impound car." And the cops are like, "Yeah, buddy,
we
time
got
to go
now.
to work." and then the Blues Brothers obviously drive away, and we get the first chase scene. But I was like, what Elwood? What are you doing,
Elwood,
dog? I know you guys live in
buddy?
Abject poverty this entire time, but holy shit, man.
Oh fuck, Elwood never changed. Fucking idiot.
I love Elwood. Elwood's great. I might like Elwood more than Jake in this movie, I'll be honest.
I think I think that's a fair take. I don't know if I have a favorite. I think as a duo, they work very well together. I definitely couldn't see this playing out just Jake leading or just Elwood, doing Elwood things. It definitely works best when these two personalities are together. So I don't think I can say confidently that I have a favorite. I just think these guys they're just funny guys. They're a funny bit.
Mm-hmm. There's a reason they were able to be so successful on SNL originally.
But yeah, dude, I mean, this is a great flick. I do think this is a fun flick. Is it my favorite comedy of the late 70s or early 80s or even 60s or anything? Probably not. But it's like, I don't know, it might break top 10. It probably breaks top 10.
When you rated it a 7 out of 10 earlier?
I mean, there's not a whole lot of good comedies that came out back. Oh, no, that's not true. Because there's like Animal House and a lot of National Lampoon. I don't know. This might not make top 10, but only barely. It depends. I think it's just the runtime, the heavy dependence on visual gags, which I'm here for. But I don't know. It kind of depends. We'll see. I'll have to make a list and just, quantify it, and then I'll get back to you on that.
Right. All right. So we'll revisit this in a Pandeview in the future.
Yeah.
Top comedies of the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
All right. Yeah, I agree. I think this is enjoyable. This is an enjoyable time, and I am satisfied. I like this. I don't know. I think this is a decently rewatchable movie, but kind of only with people who have never watched it for the first time or haven't seen it and are watching it for the first time.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
This is a harder movie, I think, to just casually rewatch with like a large group of people that already know like all of the gags.
Yeah.
Like when you know what's coming, maybe that's what I feel like.
Unless there's a drinking game. If there's a drinking game for this movie, I'm in. There's got to be.
I mean, there's got to be. Yeah. No, I'm certain this movie is a drinking game.
I would absolutely get drunk to this movie.
But yeah, I mean, hey, I'm glad we could be here. Christian, I have stuff for us. Are you ready to proceed to the next stage of our?
I am ready.
All right. Well, it is now that time of the evening. It is indeed budget guest time, and Christian.
Hey.
Christian, this is my favorite game of the evening. I obviously have here the numbers in front of me, and I want to let's paint a picture. What are we up against? So we have a 1980s film with a runtime of 2.5 hours, 133 minutes in total. I think that might even play against us a little bit. To be perfectly honest, I think that people don't want to see a 2.5 hour movie in the 80s. I think that today people already hate that. I can't imagine how they felt about it in the 1980s. But I could be dead wrong. This is a movie that is, as we've talked about, is a SNL skit made for movie musical. I can only imagine what a budget of that caliber could entail. Christian, what do you anticipate this movie being in terms of budget? I
don't know the numbers. I'll preface what I'm about to say with that, but in my bit of research that I did into the movie, I have a couple of like funny facts. Also, this is like one of them, is that this movie, whatever the budget is, or they originally thought this movie was going to be made for, ended up going way over budget because John Belushi, just party fucking animal, dude, would frequently just disappear and be found somewhere else, and it would throw off the filming schedule, and he would just buy shit, and I guess on company card or something like that. I don't know that specific one, but just so often they were getting thrown off balance by John Belushi and his wild habits, which unfortunately probably lead to his demise a couple of years later. So but probably. So whatever this movie whatever this movie originally was going to be budgeted for took way longer because they just needed the time to deal with John Belushi.
John Belushi, the fucking party animal. I mean, he did, his only other like notable role was the main dude in Animal House, National Lampoon's Animal House. So to be fair, that does kind of track.
Yeah. So I think, that being said, this movie probably cost a decent amount of money, even for the 80s, because there are just so many moving parts in these real life, the car pileups, the mall chase scenes, all the shit they destroy. They had to build. They had to build those sets, probably, or destroyed a real mall. I have no idea. The explosions, the pyrotech, the names in this movie.
They're decently sizable names.
Now, this is still like 1980s budget movie. I'm gonna. Oh man, I'm gonna say 20.
You got it.
We'll give it a weird number. We'll go $23 million.
$23 million. Christian, I think we have a record. You're fucking close.
Oh,
you are fucking close.
Oh, okay, nice.
I think we have a record. It is 27.5, in fact.
Wow.
That might be the best you have ever done on budget guess.
I think you're right.
That's pretty fucking. You deserve a pat on the back. Congratulations, buddy. That was a good guess. John Belushi. May he rest in peace. I think his his story inspired you.
Yeah, if I didn't know that fact about John Belushi, I probably would have guessed something like maybe a sub 20 or 20 at most. Maybe it wouldn't have been like that far off, but I think
fair.
I think I would have guessed a bit lower.
Well, it was 27.5. All right. Well,
sweet.
Christian, that was a great guess. Let's see if you can keep the momentum alive. What do you anticipate this movie made at the box office? Let's keep in mind what are our slam dunk parameters. If you can make back 2 times your budget, that's a slam dunk. Did this movie, being the classic that it is, become a slam dunk at the box office? That is my question to you.
Man, this one's kind of tearing, kind of could go either way, because I think you bring up a good point in that, like, maybe people don't want to watch longer movies, but also I think. Man, maybe that's not even really true, because there are a lot of old movies that are just long for no fucking reason.
Yeah, there are a lot of old movies that are long for no fucking reason.
Like the recently reviewed Oklahoma, one of them. The like Gone with the Wind or something, like all of this shit.
When accounting for inflation, I believe Gone with the Wind is still the #1 grossing movie of all time.
I definitely believe that for sure. But anyway, so okay, did people care about this movie? I think people definitely care about this movie, because this is the beginning of SNL. People fucking love SNL at this time. That much I know.
That is true. SNL, when SNL first debuted, it definitely hit the world by like a storm, for sure.
Yeah, and this is like 5 years after the fact, so they're hitting a stride. These two are like probably the funniest they've been at that point in their lives. I think this definitely made a bunch of money. And so for that, I'm going to guess we made...
Drumroll.
$70 million.
Christian.
Oh, I didn't get it, did I? This
movie
movie made way more money than that, didn't it?
As you know.
Do I?
This movie was on a mission from God. Of course it made a meager $115 million fucking dollars, baby. Hell yeah, this was a slam dunk and a half, dude.
Not only was it a slam dunk, it won the whole contest.
It won the whole goddamn contest. Oh yeah, baby. This was very much gone to in the year of our Lord 1980. This made nearly 3 times its budget, or maybe like 3 times if you consider like the right. Well, no, I'm sorry, 4 times its budget, right? Am I doing math right? Yeah, 4 times its budget. So that is, beyond a shadow of a doubt, a slam fucking dunk. They love this. The people loved it.
Holy shit.
I'm sure we're gonna find one of those outliers that are like a cult classic but secretly made like fucking dog shit at the box office, and then people realize later it was really good. I'm sure we'll find one of these days, but this is not it. This is slam dunk.
Yeah, I'll say. Damn. All right. Couldn't replicate my budget number, but that's all right.
That was still a great guess on the budget. I that is so you were off by 4. Incredible actually.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. Well, I'll take the reins here, and
yes.
I will first present to you before the Letterboxd reviews 2 miscellaneous fun facts that I came across in my movie research. So one of them, John Belushi, as you know, throughout the movie, always wearing sunglasses. So
always, yes.
I'm sure there must have surely. The entire time it was, like one pair of sunglasses because he just like never took them off. John Belushi, surely method actor, just wearing the sunglasses all the time. Not the case. He was given the nickname the Black Hole because he allegedly went through hundreds of pairs of sunglasses during the production of the movie. He would like do a scene and just gone out of existence, lost them.
Oh, that's fucking great.
So there's just pocket dimensions filled with Blues Brothers John Belushi sunglasses.
John Belushi sunglasses.
Yeah, like going into the couch cushions, instead of finding pennies, you find John Belushi sunglasses.
Oh man, that's awesome. Actually, I want to find the space between universes where all of John Belushi's sunglasses found their way into. Oh, that's great. I love that.
The second of the fun facts is that Carrie Fisher got engaged to Dan Aykroyd during the filming of this movie.
Is that a fact?
Yes. They didn't last very long. In fact, I don't even think they actually got married. They got engaged, but they didn't actually get married, I believe.
Art imitates life.
Do you want to know the inciting incident into the start of their relationship?
I do want to know.
During filming, not during an actual scene, but during the production,
right.
Carrie Fisher apparently got food lodged in her throat and began to choke. And Dan Aykroyd saved her life by performing the Heimlich maneuver on her. And she was apparently way too into that.
I mean, get a girl. Like, I mean, I love that for you. I mean, maybe under better circumstances, but
just
I love
a little
that
bit.
For you. Yeah.
This feels like an accurate, an appropriate time to point towards the quote from Speed, the hit movie with Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves, where we talk about relationships formed under extreme circumstances tend not to work out very well. And I think this might be an example of that.
Well, I actually don't think Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves ever actually dated post Speed, but they have since come out or post their movie time, and they were like, oh no, I definitely crushed on him and I definitely crushed on her. So they both acknowledged that they were into each other during filming, but I don't think they ever like went down and dated or anything.
No, in real life, no. Their on-screen relationship in the movie did, though. That went the distance.
That definitely went the distance for sure.
Anyway, those are my other
live in a world where Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock got married, maybe, though. I don't know. I wonder how different that universe would be.
Yeah, I wonder. But yeah, those
maybe
are...
in that universe, Carrie Fisher doesn't need the Heimlich from Dan Aykroyd.
Speed a little bit different, not different, a little bit after the making of the Blues Brothers.
Well, yeah, but think about it. If Carrie Fisher could just chew her food in 1980 or 1978 when this was probably filmed or whatever the fuck, maybe that had a cascading effect that caused Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock to finally start.
Somebody on the writing team for Speed got wind of this incident and how they broke up like right after, and they're like, there's like a lesson to be learned here, right? And then he wrote that line into Speed.
I'm just saying.
Butterfly effect goes crazy.
Butterfly effect do be going crazy, man.
All right, I've got Letterboxd reviews, baby.
All right, let's go Letterboxd time, baby.
I'm gonna let her rip right off the bat.
All right, I'm ready.
It would be an honor to be hunted and killed by Carrie Fisher.
That's got to be a 5 out of 5. Come on.
It is not. You're wrong.
Oh, come on, dude. Who fucking says that? All right, whatever.
Somebody who
Fucking
only
bullshit.
gives 4-star reviews. That's who.
It's fucking nonsense. Whatever. You know, you're a fucking phony. That's what you are. You're a phony.
Oh, wow.
That's right.
Wow.
I'm calling out the reviewers now. It's not me that's wrong. It's the people that are out of touch.
Yeah, they just couldn't be wrong. This is a moment where the singer got the lyrics wrong while you were singing in the shower. That's
what I'm saying. Although I do that, so let's not demonize that while we're here. Is all I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'll just move on real quick.
Yeah. Thank you.
A moment of silence for the thousands of cars destroyed in this film.
There were so many cars destroyed.
So many cars. This is where the budget really went. Fuck John Belushi's drug addiction. This is
Let's be real. That's like not even a joke. I'm gonna say I'm leaning 3, 5, or 4. I'm gonna say 4.
Oh, Brendan.
Oh no.
This one was a 4.5-star review.
Oh, 4.5. Come on, man.
Had to bump it up that extra. Take that 3.5, that 4, smack them together, give it a 4 out of 5. 4.5 out of 5, excuse me.
God damn it. All right, fine.
Next, I'm going to give you
the next one.
A bit of a longer one, but I think it's worth it. Right. I keep thinking about how deeply weird the existence of the Blues Brothers is. 2 comedians start a semi-joke band on SNL that's mostly an excuse to feel like legit musicians. Then they end up opening for the Grateful Dead, which I didn't know, and recorded an album that goes platinum. Also didn't know that. Then Dan Aykroyd, that wonderful weirdo, writes this whole Bible of mythology for their joke music personas, and they make a blockbuster movie featuring Aretha Franklin, Ray Charles, and Carrie Fisher with a bazooka, and it's both total nonsense and genuinely amazing. None of this makes sense. I love it.
I feel like there is a rift in reality if that is not a 5 out of 5.
This was also, fun fact, the most liked review on Letterboxd for this movie.
Okay.
At 3,113 likes, but Brendan, somewhere in this universe, there was a rift in reality because was a 4.5 once again.
That's such fucking bullshit. Why are these people wrong? This is not how you express enthusiasm. Fucking bullshit.
I don't know what this review, I don't know how you leave off the half star. I'm in agreement with you, I think. I don't know how you say all of this. Maybe somewhere in there the weirdness just got to them and they're like, yeah, I don't know. It's not a perfect experience.
You see that edited fucking tag anywhere on that thing? Is that an au naturel one, or did they edit that?
I don't think I've ever seen an edited tag on the reviews, so I don't think Letterboxd lets me see if they've edited it or not.
Oh, I feel like every time we come here, I ask the same thing, and then I get the same answer.
Okay, next one.
All right,
a terrible movie, much beloved.
That's it. That's it.
That's the whole review. That's the whole review.
Okay. You sound like you were going to trail on a little more there, but all right, fair enough. Terrible movie, much beloved. Yeah, I'll say that's 3 out of 5.
I'm so sorry, my friend.
Oh, come on.
This person,
wait a minute.
Despite saying much beloved, this was, in their eyes, a terrible movie. This was a 2-star review.
Well, honestly, I'll take that. That wasn't that far off, because I sort of felt that negative. I thought you were about to hit me with the Brendan.
This is the 5-star.
This is the 5-star. I was gonna be a little outraged again. You can't keep doing this to me.
No.
I felt that. All right, 2-star. I didn't hone in on the energy. That's fair. I respect that.
All right, I've got 2 more reviews for you here.
I can't wait.
I'm going to double down on a sentiment shared by somebody else on a review that I've already read. And normally I wouldn't really double down on reviews that say kind of the same thing, but this one tickled me a little bit too. I don't even think the Avengers have wrecked that many cars.
That's a 4 out of 5. I hate the side, man. Why do you gotta hit me with the side? Just fucking rip it like a Band-Aid. Don't make me stew in it. 4.5? God, fuck these guys. All right, anyway.
And the last review. This would be a perfect kids movie if it was 45 minutes shorter.
This is your perfect kids movie?
This is your perfect kids movie.
With the you-know-what's in it?
With the you-know-what's in it. I don't know where you cut the 45 minutes. I don't know if they're saying you literally take the last 45 minutes and chop it off, or if they're nitpicking. If they're nitpicking, yeah, you take the you-know-what'sums out of the movie and then also the 20 minutes at the end. And there you go. You pretty much got your 45 minutes. Minus the walking scenes that you talked about earlier too. That's like,
yeah.
You take those out, we got a 45-minute shorter movie. Still don't know if it's a kids movie at that point, but you know,
I don't think it's a kids movie. I'm gonna say this is a 1.5.
1.5.
I'm going deep.
Wow.
I'm going deep.
You almost hit the exact opposite end of the spectrum. This, Brendan, was the 5-star review.
No way!
Got
what
him.
The hell?
Boom.
You gotta be shitting me.
You know I had to do it to him.
This was the 5-star review.
This was the 5-star review of the night.
Oh my god, dude! There's no fucking justice. I hate the internet. I hate everything.
I love them.
Oh my fucking god! I can never. I can't, because I'm fighting two inside me. I'm fighting two wolves. I'm fighting the expectation I have for the reviews that you would pick. Like, I know the spread with which you would pick reviews. I try to believe that you'll always pick a 5, but that's not always the case. I try to believe you'll always pick a 1, but that's not always the case. And then I also fight the absolute dumbasses that go to Letterboxd and leave these fucking reviews with the wrong fucking numbers attached. All right, it's a hard battle. It really is. It's an uphill battle, but I'm gonna get better at this.
Yeah. Wow. I think this is kind of a rare one, actually. I think usually you manage to nail down at least one review, but you didn't get a single one this time.
I mean, I went through a long stint of getting like 0, but then I started getting like 1 every so often. But you know, I think you know what it is. We watched an action comedy, Christian. I only do good when it's musicals. Is all I'm saying. This is an action comedy, so it doesn't count.
Right, but with singing, so it's a musical.
Well, I mean, it has that part, but it's not. It's an action comedy. We don't. That's all it is. You know what I mean? If it was anything, if it was a musical, then I would have got it. But it's an action comedy, so you know. Right. Yeah. Although speaking of things that totally not musicals, you remember the in the summary where I told I told everyone there'd be a fabulous live musical performance at the end of the show. I do. Is there actually a performance?
There is. I pulled a Panda Sighting's favorite character from out of the woodwork. We had Carrie Fisher in this movie, and I was just so inspired because I really only know her for her role in Star Wars, and it got me put it on the brain. And so tonight, for our listeners' pleasure, I brought from our other podcast, I brought the Yoba to come and sing for everybody. Come on down here, buddy. Let's go. Hey, it's been a while, Yoba. We haven't brought you back to the show for a little bit. How you been, buddy?
Yes, Christian. I doing well. How goes the podcast that you do these days?
It's great. Actually, I took a bit of your advice sometimes, and I really, not the spoiler part.
You smoked the ganja?
Yeah, I dabbled a little bit in the devil's lettuce, just like a little bit here and there. And
nice.
I came up with this great idea while I was doing it to have you come and sing a quick number for us. So I'm just gonna hand you the mic here, and it doesn't have to be anything crazy. I don't want you to go out of your way. I'm already pulling you off unexpectedly from the other night, and just a little bit, just tease the people, show them what you're made of, because that one night that we were hanging out, you just blew me away with your voice. So anything, please, for the people.
I might be able to help you here. I see skies of blue, clouds of white. Oh, delivery. I'm so sorry, Christian. Do you don't
What?
mind if I look up some lyrics? I might need some lyrics here.
Oh, I mean, I guess I guess I kind of just figured maybe Yoba would have something just always in the back pocket, like white people just always have Mr. Brightside on deck. I kind of just assumed that you probably had one of those.
This is of course, this is the Blues Brothers songs show, so I have something a little, well, it's not blues, but we got this.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, but please.
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of.
It's beautiful. Brandon, what happened? Why are why are you coughing? Yoba is trying to sing.
You're right. I'm sorry. I didn't. Yoba, you can come back here. I didn't mean to take the mic from you. You want to finish your tune?
Yes, thank you, fucking asshole. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me, somewhere over the rainbow. Bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh, why can't
It's
I?
It's the best day of my
Yoba,
life.
that was great. You did it fantastic.
Oh, Yoba. Oh, that was so much better than I could have ever imagined. Thank you. Oh,
Off the cuff, you really put me in a spot there, Christian. I was not prepared. I'm Yoba. I'll make it happen. But that was a little fucked up. I'm not gonna lie.
What do you mean? I told you about this 2 weeks ago when we were playing checkers. You said you would come and do it, and that's why you're here.
Christian, I was on the ganja. I say yes to everything when I'm on the ganja.
That's not my problem.
You gotta remind me of these things a day in advance.
Okay. Next time, all right. For what it's worth, I think you did great for something that was off the cuff like that.
Yes. Thank you. I know. I'm great. I'm perfect. I appreciate
You are. I'll remind you next time. But for now, we should probably wrap up our own show. Thank you, Yoba.
Brendan, get the fuck back here. I'm done with this guy.
Thanks, Yoba. I appreciate you.
All right. Wow, that was great. Moving.
Moving. Yeah, that's absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
What an absolute what a beautiful vocalist Yoba is.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And it was. Honestly, I didn't think it got any better than when he was high off his ass, but that was pretty good.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know. Something just changes his voice like 3 octaves higher actually when he's high. So, maybe next time I'll get him to smoke a little before we get him on for a musical performance. If it happens again, I don't know. He might be irreversibly mad at me. So
I don't know. I mean, he might come back, but I also think that we don't want to overuse the musical Yoba bit. I mean, come on.
Right, of course. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. It's the same for special occasions.
Yeah,
like when we watch Blues Brothers 2000 or something.
Don't say it. That one I do remember, and that flick sucks. Anyway, that is, I hope, the end of the show with no more.
No, that is the end of the show.
Thank you. I'm glad that Yoba could grace us this evening. I wasn't expecting him. Audience, I was not expecting Yoba this evening. I was pleasantly surprised. But hey,
Well, yeah,
what
that's
we
the
haven't
idea.
done yet? You know what we haven't done yet?
What?
Thank you to all of our patrons who support us. This is, of course, going out to Twigo, Taco, and Rin. I believe this was Taco's pick.
Correct.
Yes. Thank you, Taco, for the lovely recommendation. I do like this movie. This is a fun time. And thank you to the rest of our patrons. Even if you are not in the producer tier, we appreciate all of you. I don't know the rest of the thing. Do you know the rest of the thing? I'm not good at the rest of the thing.
You could kind of just do it. Devin knows the rest of the thing, but he just kind of says whatever comes to his brain.
Yeah, if you're here, we also have a podcast over that we call One Piece with a Lime. If you're here, you probably know of it. We have a Discord if you ever want to communicate with us, live or off the cuff. We're on Spotify. We're on all your audio based platforms, and we even have a YouTube now. We have you could join our Patreon if you would like. You don't have to be on the producer tier. We will happily have you, and we appreciate the support. We have a shop where you can get shit that has a lot of junk on it, mostly for One Piece with a Lime. We don't have enough Panda View stuff, do we?
Not yet. I think at a base level, we probably one day put the Panda View logo in there because there's not a whole lot else we can make stickers out of from what we do here.
I mean, there's always spicy cocoa. We should just visualize spicy cocoa.
Oh wait, what was the other one? What was the other one with the chonkla? There was some other title that had chonkla in it, and that we really liked too.
I can't remember.
I wish I could remember that.
Or toxic positivity. I like that one a lot.
Toxic positivity. That's a pretty good sticker, actually. Toxic positivity.
And if I'm nothing if not toxically positive, anyway.
Ain't that a truth?
Ain't that the fucking truth? And if you can also send us questions at pandasightings@gmail.com. And you can reach out to us on any of our socials at pandasightings. And we'll get back to you. And we appreciate your ears and your listening pleasures.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I sure hope that all of you like listening to Yoba, because I don't know what that's going to sound like back.
Oh, it's going to sound great.
Yep, I hope so. I believe it. Yoba, he's, like I said, he's a great musician and a fantastic performer.
And he just enhances everything that he's in.
Everything he's ever done is only enhanced. Yep, yeah. Never detracted in the slightest.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I appreciate this time, Christian. Now, if you don't mind me, I've got about 500 sunglasses to find.
Are you John Belushi?
I'm not John Belushi.
Back from the dead to reclaim his sunglasses?
Well, it just so happens that I was given a map, and I thought that I was going to be going into the plot of an Indiana Jones movie, but it turns out that I'm going to be finding and searching for the lost sunglasses of John Belushi. Come with me, Christian. We have to go.
Like the shittiest collectible. 500 collectibles in a video game.
500 terrible sunglasses in a video game.
See you next musical, Brendan.
See you next musical, bud.